All right, my friends, let me start off by saying a huge thank you. We hit a record downloads, views, and followers this past week. And we just want to thank you. When I say we, let me welcome Dr. Drew Henderson. What's going on, my man?
Not much, man. Just another day living the dream, literally. Like we wake up and it's the best thing to get to wake up and go do what we do.
I was talking to someone today that basically was asking why do we do the podcast? And it was plain and simple to educate the world about chiropractic and the body ability to heal itself, really.
Yeah. Yeah. If we're not educating people, what are we doing? We want, and I know I do, I know you do, we want everybody within their reach to be under care,
Everybody.
you know, everybody. And with the internet, that is everybody.
Well, I mean, think how I mean, I know this what our podcast right here is around the world,
Hmm. Yeah.
and one of the best books I read through chiropractic school was, the one Traveling with BJ Palmer, his writings when he traveled around the world.
Hmm.
And he was known for going into all these countries and adjusting princes and queens and kings, and they showered him with gifts. And now we could do it through the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Pretty
mean, I know last week a guy from Ghana texted me and said, "Bro, thank you so much for doing this. We went all through school together. Now Joe Afor is in Ghana and he loves them,
It's awesome.
and he's in the middle of looks like a desert in
Yeah,
Ghana.
we had a delay. The individual who's responsible for launching this, and he's a busy dude. And I guess it launches at, we do twice a week, but Friday is at 7 a.m. and he hit 7 p.m. by accident. And I woke up, I got back from the gym and I pulled out my phone and I got all these text messages. Hey, no podcast today. And I was like, whoa, what happened? I messaged Michelle and then she was like, oops. Yeah, he made a
Yeah.
little mistake. We'll fix it right now. I said, thank you. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
cool, man. It's cool.
it is, and people look forward to getting educated on. You remember that show, Facts of Life?
Yeah.
Man, this is just the facts of life right here. That's all it is. Facts of life, bro.
And that's what today we had. I had my meeting with the docs at JFC. We do a Zoom call every Monday if I'm not there. If I am there, we do it in person. We just sit down and we train, and it's fun because the training's taken on a much higher level now as they grow. And today we were talking about, how do we effectively communicate a patient, especially when they're beginning care,
Hmm.
and how to bring them along that initial process that, I call the first 4 to 6 months, which are critical
Yeah.
for someone understanding what it is we do. So I think we want to tap into that tonight and kind of how do we educate patients? How can people better educate patients and serve the community at large?
Yeah. And it's never a treatment. It's always, let's check you for vertebral subluxations. Let's
Right.
check you. Let's
Right.
check you. And they're like, man, I'm uh I'm not doing so hot. Like, well, let's check you and see how you're really doing. It
Right.
all goes back to see how you really are. Because if you're subluxated, if you have a hard bone on a soft nerve, you're not okay, regardless of your symptoms.
I mean, it's really as simple as you're just better off without a subluxation.
Yep,
Like it should be that simple, you
it
know,
is.
but it's not because the way that a lot of chiropractors run their office with all the crap they do in it that people don't even learn about a subluxation, let alone get adjusted by the time they get to
Hmm.
us. And two, I think it's faith, like understanding the design of the body, who designed it, how smart it is, and how we could function better if we're connected. If that source is connected, how much better off we are.
Yeah, yeah, and just like Dr. Sid Williams would say, um, adjust somebody, he'd get them up. You're better because he knew when they were clear, they were better.
The better. And I
They're
tell
better.
patients
You're
once we do
better.
that adjustment, I sit back and eat popcorn and watch your body do the rest.
Hmm. Yeah.
So let's
Yep.
talk
It's
about, like, you go through, we label these things day one, day two re-exams, right? So
hmm
in our offices, we do the day one, which is the history collecting. Like, I love that day. That's like, to me, that's discovery day. And then
yeah.
day two is now, this is what you came in and this is what you said, but also here's
hmm
what we found. And now we found the problem and we're going to help change your life. And here's what it's going to take to get there. But then it's also day number 56, visit 56. What are you talking about? So let's kind of break this down if we can.
Yeah, I mean, I know for us, day one, just like you were saying, is like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? And we just really be quiet and let them talk for a little bit,
Right.
because we want to connect and see what's going on with them, and go from there and build that rapport. And this is what's going, and then they'll mention little things. They may come there for some shoulder issue, but then they've circled depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, so then we just log that in the back of our mind, and then just wait to unfold all of that, because you can't unpack it all in one day.
Right.
They get overwhelmed, but we just
Overwhelmed.
listen. We
Right.
just listen.
And it's the overwhelming part. And this is what I was discussing with the docs today. They're coming in with their own perception.
Yeah.
They've got a movie playing in their life on what they think and how things are and what they should be. We'll have people come in and say, I'm not coming in all the time. I'm just here to get cracked a couple times. And you're like, all right, I could throw you out of here right now and say, well, then you're in the wrong place,
Yeah.
or accept them where they're at, go through the process, and now educate them, which is a lot better than just throwing them out on
hmm
how chiropractic is more than they've ever thought it was.
Yeah.
So that history, like you said, they could come in and mention, depression, anxiety, things like that, but a lot of times they won't, because they
hmm
think, what the heck does chiropractic have to do with that? They think it's just about pain, neck pain, sciatica, the things that, have been made familiar to them.
hmm
But through discussion and then through the process of the exam, I don't know how many times I've said to someone, do you have anxiety or depression yet?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, how do you know that? Well, look at the scan, look at these x-rays. That's typically what I've seen over, for doing this 30 years, that people will have this going on. And then they're like, the whole energy changes.
hmm
The
Yeah.
whole energy changes. But it all goes back
Yeah.
to the same thing. What's our intention is to find if they're subluxated and clear it, but they have to be educated and their consciousness has to shift.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've noticed, it, like you do, like a lateral view of like the pelvis or something. You can see their sacrum, their tailbone sometimes just kind of turned under. And in my mind, it's just like a dog that has its tail stuck up under its legs.
Right.
Just the whole time they're just compressed and afraid to be like who God created them to be.
And they don't even
You know,
know
they've
it.
been no, no, they're just living life. They have no clue, but that's just what's going on. You
Right.
know, and and we start to educate people. Like yesterday, I had to go make a house call for a guy. He was going to speak at a Charlie Kirk Memorial thing we were going to have up here yesterday,
Hmm.
and educate, 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 and you hope they get it. But then he texts me Sunday morning early before church. He's like, "Hey, are you around anywhere? I got to speak tonight, and I'm just feeling anxious and nervous, and I just want to get checked." I'm like, "Dude, you betcha. Whatever worked." And he was going to meet me at the office, and I'm like, "I just come to your house, man. Like, you gotta write what you're going to speak on tonight. That's heavy. That's emotional. The whole town is going to be there.
Wow.
I'll come to you. You stay home." So we ate after church. I took my leftovers, my chicken and my fries and stuff, took those to him, adjusted him. Um, we prayed together, and then he was ready. you know. He crushed it last night.
Really?
But he knew, yeah, but he knew he wanted to get clear.
He knew what he needed.
Yeah. And um, you know him. He was on here, Josh Haymore.
Oh, it was him?
Yep, yep, it was him. He was the anchor for the evening.
He's a great man, dude. And, they just asked me here. I got a meeting tomorrow to be on the board and Tammy of the what FCA here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like, I don't
That's
know if I
awesome.
can do the board meeting Zoom call. I said, let me find out. But well, that's awesome. Good for him, man. He knew they picked the right man, and I'm sure he did an amazing job.
Yeah, yeah. And one of my other good friends, he's a state rep, soon to be state senator, and he was speaking just before Josh, and he's so humble. He was like, don't introduce me as the state rep, soon to be state senator. Just introduce me as the deacon for the church. That's all. That matters more than the state position he holds. Like,
When you think
I'm
about
the deacon
Josh,
at the church.
I mean, you talk
No,
about Josh and understanding the value of getting clear
yeah,
during a stressful time for him. He had
yeah,
a lot of responsibility, a lot on his plate, and he had the wherewithal to realize that I need to be getting checked.
yeah. And
Let
and
alone
that's where
got
that
a kick-ass
education comes
chiropractor
in.
like you that shows up to his house, not only with
Yeah,
an adjustment, but food. I mean, that's badass, bro.
I know, right?
That's
Right.
awesome.
And but that's just like we keep saying love is a verb, right? Love is a verb. It's something that's in action.
So if you think about the premise that if every new patient got the message the way that Josh did, so I think about what was said and communicated to Josh that helped him wake up to this principle to get to that point.
Yeah. And I mean, same thing you communicate. It's just nerve pressure is bad. Vertebral subluxation is bad. That's where we live at. Like if I cut your arm now, you're gonna heal up. Two
Right.
minutes later, 2 minutes after you die, if I cut you, you won't. Because that life is what heals us. That life is in the nervous system.
That's
What
it.
we do is remove interference to that so you can function the way God created you to.
Well, I mean, that statement right there, so that you could function the way that God designed you to. Someone in Josh's position, if anyone listens to our podcast with him, that he was already coming in with that foundation.
Yeah.
And what I found, and I was joking with the kids today saying that, when I do a mission trip, and I've done, I think, 9 of them, and I don't speak
Mhm.
Spanish. So my communication is telling these people, Dios, Dios, and I'm pointing above, down, inside out. And I go subluxation and I do a chokehold. No Dios, no good. And they
Yeah.
go, oh, I go chiropractico. And I mimic an adjustment to the neck and open up my hand and go Dios. And so they all start coming. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why isn't it that easy here? I said, because these people, their whole foundation is based off faith and that how powerful they are through God's grace. So you got someone like
Yeah.
Josh that now could connect the dots quicker. And it's not as
Yeah.
easy in today's society for obvious reasons. So we've got to master the art of the communication of
Mhm.
accept one, not shoving it down their throat, and two, accepting them where they're at and finding the language to get them to hear. Because if you play bad music,
Yeah.
you want to shut it off. But if you could use their body language and words to communicate, but the message is the same, the light bulb starts going on. And then if they start getting adjusted long enough and it naturally happens where they experience it, and now it's adding value to their life, now they wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it adds value to their life, to their kid's life, the spouse's life, the neighbor's life, because they start telling everybody.
Yes.
They start telling everybody. And, I texted him this morning. I'm like, bro, that was great. How did you feel about how you did? He said, man, it was none of me, and that was perfect. Like, it was great. But it's just being consistent too. Even
Yeah.
when you're tired, you
Right.
still have to be consistent with the truth.
Right.
Have to be consistent.
Well, it's hard to be inconsistent with the truth unless you choose to lie.
Yep.
And that's where I think
Yeah.
doing anything outside of chiropractic is not the truth,
Yeah.
right? And people will be offended. Say, well, then you call me a liar? Yeah. At the end of the day, would you do it for free?
Yeah.
If you could do all these other modalities to people and not charge them and do it for free, would you have it in the office? If I
Mhm.
was a multi-millionaire and I did not have to charge people, I would adjust for free
Yep.
and enjoy it and have more fun where I didn't have to like close people out to really understand it, to say this is what we got to do. Just hey, I'm set for life and so are my grandkids. I'm just going to take care of you for free. Kind of like BJ
Yeah.
did at Clearview Sanitarium. I don't think he charged
Mhm.
people.
Mhm. Yeah, I would love that. And talking about truth, our motto up at my undergrad school is truth and wisdom.
Ah,
You know,
well,
that's it.
there's the
University of North
education
Georgia.
process right there, bro.
Yep, truth and wisdom. That's
Speak the
it.
truth and they'll gain the wisdom.
Yep.
I like that,
Yep.
man. See, look at that. You happen to have that hat sitting there.
I know. It's wild, right? It's and it's just right here on all the stuff on my desk. And I'm like, shoot, that's it. Truth and wisdom.
Right,
Truth and wisdom. And if we're truthful, if we have those conversations,
right.
um, it's going to take up more time. Somebody said the other day, I forget exactly what it was, um, yeah, just crack it and fix it. I just like, all right, set up a minute. Let's talk about this. Let's
Uh,
talk about this. And the end result is the same, but it took up another 3 minutes for them to set up. We talk about it like, listen, we're not cracking anything. We're finding that nerve pressure. We're correcting that with an adjustment. And then the power that's in you, that's only there when you're alive, is what actually heals you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to find that nerve pressure, remove it with an adjustment. And then the power that's in us is set free to do what it's designed to do. And that's
right,
it. Now lay back down.
right.
And then I still adjust him like I would have without that. But if we don't educate them, they're not going to know.
Well, the adjustment by definitions of a chiropractor, doctor of chiropractic, who trains thousands of hours, is a very specific scientific move that's a heck of a lot more specific, safer, and the outcome is greater to get well. We got a new
Hmm.
patient today that came in, couldn't turn his neck, basically had torticollis because the massage therapist manipulated him.
Hmm.
And he said he had been to this person a couple times and they said they knew how to do it. So he let them do it a couple times until Friday. And he had the worst weekend of his life. He said he almost went to the hospital. They're not trained to do that. And a
No.
manipulation is a dirty word. So if someone says crack me or whatever, that's what we're feeling. It's
Hmm.
disrespectful. It's an
Yeah.
adjustment that we've trained tens of thousands of hours to learn for
Yeah.
their greater good. So they need to hear that truth.
Yeah. And I mean, if we're not telling the truth, what are we doing? It's just freaking Peter Pan out there, man. Like we have to tell the truth
Yeah.
every day, even if it takes up more time. We were backed up and it's like, why are you getting him up, telling him about it's not cracking, but it's important because if
Yeah.
if they don't get it, they'll never get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to take the time to do it. And um, I don't know how your Florida office is, but you know how mine is. Like it's all open, and then a new person comes in, and then they get to hear us talking to everybody else, and then the other people starts talking to them like you're in the
Yeah.
right place.
Oh
You won't
yeah.
be in a better place,
Yeah.
and then it,
I've
it
had,
all
I've had
builds on each
patients
other.
explain it to patients before. If a
Yeah.
patient says, "Oh, hey, doc, you got to crack me up good," and I'm getting ready to adjust someone else, and someone's sitting there waiting, goes, "Oh, don't say that," and I'll say, "John, why don't you explain that to him?" And then he does. But then you got 8 people in the room listening at once. That's a great educational tool.
It is because it's just not us; it's
Right.
them. It's the patients telling the truth too, and it's just that consistency over and over. Like like you were saying the other day, like we or a minute ago, we have to kind of read the room and talk to people a little different, but the message is the same.
Same.
message will always be the same. And I've always said this, it's almost like getting on a merry-go-round, right? It don't matter if you sit on the zebra or the lion or the little bowl thing or the horse or whatever. The music when that merry-go-round starts is always the same song.
Yeah.
You can sit on any animal, but it's the same song.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
know one song. That's it. I don't know any others, man.
Well, I'll tell you, that's why I think, and I can analogy a story like that. One of the greatest ways to get the majority of your people to hear it is to do an orientation.
Hmm.
Like doing an orientation you make it part of the process. A patient
Yeah.
calls and they schedule the first appointment. You're going to come in at this time. You're going to be here about an hour, and this is what's going to happen. And then you're going to come back the second visit, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to sit down. We're going to go be very thorough, blah, blah, blah. And then on the third visit, you're going to come in. You're going to show up at this time. You're going to get adjusted, and you're going to stay for about 20 minutes, and we're going to have a discussion. But there's going to be 10
Hmm.
other people sitting with them, which they don't need to know until they show up, and you give them
Hmm.
the chiropractic story and all the stuff we're talking about in one concise 20-minute class.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. And probably yours too. The more that I've done this, the shorter and shorter that gets. When I first opened, oh man, it was an hour, hour and a half.
Oh man,
I
I remember
just
mine.
spewing everything I knew on them.
Yeah. Oh, I
And,
messed up a lot of people in the beginning.
man, and in 15, 20 minutes, I lost them. They were somewhere else. But now it's just, let's get to the meat of the facts,
I've got
you
mine
know?
recorded on my website that sometimes people will watch before they come. So it's on the judsonchiropractic.com, I think is the website. You go to Judson 101, it says orientation. And I
Hmm.
recorded it years ago. So it was on there so that anyone, if they work the night shift and then they get up at 6 in the morning and they got to get in the office and get adjusted real quick and leave. So they can't stay at lunchtime because they got to go back to work. And I get people like that. I said, it was so important. You got to do it. Now I could also just give them the book, right? But
Yeah,
you can't guarantee all the time they're going to read the book Wake Up Humans, which I think every chiropractor on the planet should be giving it to every single patient. Plug for the book. But however, the orientation is the most powerful thing you could do.
it is. It sets the standard of what's going to be happening.
Right.
Like that's it. And we do these talks. We talk to them, but it's always no matter what somebody brings up. If they bring up football game, you just got to put it right back on the chiropractic.
Yeah.
Got to put it right back on chiropractic. They bring up football, NFL. Like, did you know every NFL team's got a chiropractor because
That's
they
right.
know how important it is.
Yeah. Why are they more important than you? Absolutely.
Yep. And
Absolutely. It's like that first visit will set the tone. The second visit gives them the aha moment of this is more than I ever thought, and this could help me in ways that I never thought of. But then it's the table talk we like to call it in our profession where you're going to repeat yourself a lot.
mhm,
And I think that's what doctors need to realize is it's okay. Time and repetition. You might have to say the same thing 5 different ways, but you're saying the same thing because it's the truth. And on the fifth time, they say, now I get it. I understand.
yeah, or the 58th time.
That's right.
We don't know. We don't have control of that. We don't know their past that may prevent them from getting it as quick as we want them to.
That's right.
But we have to be
Also, you don't know who
consistent.
they're hanging out with. That's what we talked about today. I said they could be going back to a cubicle at their office and they got 5 people sitting around them that are saying they don't believe in chiropractic. Chiropractic's bullshit. It can't help you. It can't. But then when they're properly educated, they walk in there and 4 of those people are coming to your office because they say, you
Yeah,
know what? Stop. It's not what you think. They give you a little bit of history or whatever it is, and they drag them in and their life gets changed. And that's where your office when your education's penetrating like that, you don't have to go stand at a fair and beg people to come in for $19.
right.
They're referring to your office and you grow naturally and innately because people are getting it.
Yeah. And that old adage is true that if you're on fire, they'll come watch you burn.
That's right.
We had a new one, I guess it was last week, week before last, and it was in the afternoon. I think it was a Wednesday. Um, Wednesday afternoons, evenings are a little bit slower. Not much. I mean, like 10, 12%. Um, but because a lot of people here go to Wednesday night church. So people, they don't get by on Wednesdays. And there was probably 10 or 12 people in the waiting room, and somebody come in, they were like, "Oh, you're slammed." And somebody sitting there like, "Oh no, this is Wednesday. Come come some other day besides Wednesday if you want to see slammed." And it was just easy, and we heard it, but didn't even recognize it because that patient started talking to them and educating them. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, this is great." They're like, "You've got kids. You should bring your kids. They don't care."
It's awesome.
Just kids running everywhere. We love that.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite things that I came up with years ago is after Brooke was born. So my third
Hmm.
child, and in the hospital they give you, like their handprint and their footprint, which I knew was going
Yep.
to end up in a coffee table in a drawer that I would never look at. And I'm like, what? This is silly. What we should be really getting is a diploma of their first adjustment. And the
Hmm.
light bulb went off. So now we make baby's first adjustments that shows their birth date, the first adjustment date. And we laminate it and give it to the parents to bring home. And then we laminate one and we have it as a border running around the entire office. So two things
Awesome.
happen there. They put it up in the baby's room or on their refrigerator, and their friends come over and they say, "What is that?" And now it stimulates a conversation. Or when they come in the office and we do the office tour, and this is what we do. And oh, by the way, these are all, and you've got hundreds of them lining around the office. These are babies that we've taken care of within days, if not minutes of being born. We go to the hospital, they've come here, and they're like, "What? You adjust babies? Why does a
Hmm.
baby need it?" Boom, educational moment.
Yep. Yep. And it's just that consistency that continues. It never stops, man. It never
Right,
stops.
right.
We got a text today. I did. Uh, Lady, she was like a week and a half late delivering her baby. Not late. I mean, according to what they said, she was right on time. But I think she had her baby yesterday. Text us this morning, like, "Hey, I know that you said y'all would come to the house, check the baby. When is good?" We're like, "How's Tuesday, Wednesday at lunch? Let us know."
Yeah,
She's like, "That's great. Send us a picture, all the stuff." And they can't wait to have their newborn baby adjusted.
that's the greatest honor in the world, man.
It is. It is. And then kids in the office, when it gets busy and everybody running around, some people that's not been there as long, they will almost try to jump ahead of the kids, not thinking the kids are getting adjusted. The other day, this little stud of a dude, he's like 3. He walks over there. He's like, "It's my turn to get adjusted." So the guy's like, "Oh, okay." So then he hopped on the table. He got adjusted. He was like, "You see kids like that?" We're like, "Yeah, that's why they're so awesome."
Yeah,
Like, yeah, we
yeah,
say everybody, if you have a spine nervous system and if it's interfered with, you need that corrected. And he was
yeah.
like, "Huh, that makes sense. That makes sense."
Dude, before I walked in here, I checked and adjusted Kane and Jamie.
Yeah,
Dad,
yeah,
we ate dinner, and then they said, "Can you check me?" So we walked 20 steps into where I got a table and we check them,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And either most mornings or most evenings or at lunch, me and Dr. Claudia, it's like, "Hey, will you check me real quick? Will you
Right,
check me real quick?"
right.
Evening, like, "Hey, can you check me?" Then, yep, that's it. And it's no like flying 7, boom, 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 boom. It's like something over here on this side, whatever she found. Um, and then like my right hip. That's it. It's not just the same thing every time.
Right, right.
It's not. It's dynamic. We're a dynamo.
Well, that's the difference between an adjustment and a manipulation.
Yep.
because, listen, you can get caught up in a routine of left side, right side, left side, roll this way, roll that way, fold your arms, flip over. I've had patients come to us and we have to educate them. We're going to check
Hmm.
you, and there's times where you may not need an adjustment, or we
Yep.
may adjust one bone. If your atlas is off, that's all we're adjusting. And then you're going to lay there and relax. And they're like, how come everyone doesn't do this? I've never had this done before. I've never been adjusted. And they were going to a chiropractor. And I said, look, I'm not here to discuss what was done. Let's discuss what's going to happen to you. And 6 to 7 months from now, your life's going to be completely different. And you just engage them where they're at, but now project where you're going.
Yep. Yep. And that goes back to the people in the waiting room. Little lady a while back, she's like, listen, if you just listen, you're going to be better. If you listen, you're going to be better.
Isn't it that
Just
simple, though?
listen.
Just follow the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Follow the process, and then we just, with daily reinforcement, showing up. I said, all you got to do is drive here, lay face down, rest a little
Yeah.
bit, and leave. And you're going to do that for about 5 to 6 months, and you're going to see your life completely change. And then I say, people will say sometimes, well, once you go to the chiropractor, do you always have to go? I said, you don't have to do anything. If you
Mhm.
don't value your life, your nervous system, and where you're heading, then don't come. Stop. But if you go through this for 6 months and your life is changing, you're never going to want to stop. It's going to make perfect sense to keep it up. That's why we have the systems and the protocol in place for you.
Yeah. And we make it so available. Like we're here these hours, you
Right.
know, it's, we're a little different. We don't do any appointments. But if you want to come in these hours, we're going to be here. That's
Right.
why I hate closing the office because we want it to be easy where it's just part of their life.
Right.
Like, shoot, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swing by there. It's great. It's right on my way home. Like, yeah, come on.
I'm
We
sure
got
this
you.
has happened to you. You got to close when you go away to DE and you post it, you text them, you put it all over the place. We're going to be closed Thursday afternoon and Saturday morning. We'll see you Monday. And then you get back Monday and 60 people come in and say, hey, I came Thursday afternoon, you weren't here. Or, hey, I showed up and they were in your office that Monday and saw the signs, etc. But they're so programmed and regimented that I need to go get checked that they pull up and realize, oh, shoot, they're away.
Yep.
That's a well educated patient. It's part of their lifestyle.
Yep. It's just what they do. It's like getting up first thing in the morning, you go to the bathroom and pee.
Yep.
What happens? Thursday, I got to go to the chiropractor. That's what we do.
So chiropractors really need to analyze, and this is what I was telling my docs today is getting from their head space to their heart space, but training enough that you don't have to think because the outcome is the same, but
Hmm.
your attention has to be on the money, which means we have to be taking care of ourselves spiritually, emotionally, and physically, right? And you've got to be getting checked and adjusted yourself and living clear, right? Because then you're living, practicing what you preach.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
your
It's the same
communication,
for us.
yeah, communication comes across sincere and it's always on par with because it's the truth. You'll never get
Hmm.
spun out of control or answer a question differently because that's what happens to people that lie. They forget what
Yep.
they said and they say something different. Then someone goes, "That's not what you said last time."
Yep. Yep. I don't ever have to remember what I said or did. I just tell it like it is.
One of the things we've
It's
done
pretty
in our
simple.
and one of the things we've done in our offices is, because people have asked this, well, what do you talk about? We laid out a 12 to 13 visit protocol of topics. On visit 4, talk about this. On visit 5, talk about this. And the funny thing is, people say, well, how do I make it relatable?
Mhm.
If they are talking about something else, how do I talk about this? You've got to get them on par with talking about chiropractic and educating them. So no matter what they're talking about, so that's a great thought. I'm going to talk to you about, the 5 circles today, and this is what this means. Just make it
Mhm.
relatable in any way you want, and then hit them with the education because they need it.
Yeah. Yeah. And just be ready. Like look for those opportunities to like use your own noggin.
Right.
and put it together like drop of a hat. The Olympics are coming up, the Winter Olympics. They got 5 rings. They start going to start talking about the Olympics. Well, shoot, they got 5 rings in that symbol. There's 5 keys to health. You know,
Mm,
the biggest one is proper nervous system,
that's it.
proper function nervous system. That's it.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah, there's a prime example, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's just, anything like Buffalo Bills, they lost football game again last night. Um, but a couple of Super Bowls in a row, they missed a field goal that would have won the Super Bowl. It was
Right.
wide right. Why is that? I think they were subluxated.
Amen.
Subluxation. That's all it is.
Amen.
Everything goes back to subluxation, no matter what it is.
That's right. That's right.
One cause, one cure, one fix. That's it.
Amen, my man. So I think a good thing every chiropractor listening to this could do is to review and analyze day one, day two, day 56, and what is your true intention and understanding the ultimate outcome. What is that?
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you answer that question with complete clarity? And that no matter where the patient is, what their walk in life is, they're coming in with their whole story embedded in their neurology. And now we're sharing essentially a brand new story that's foreign to them. How are you going to
Mhm.
hold their hand and bring them along their path? And there's a lot of different ways that could happen.
Yeah, and I think we have to realize um, that these people that are coming in, they are in a way being very vulnerable, walking in there and telling us a lot of stuff going on with them. So just take that and see that as an honorable thing that you get to see. You get a peek inside of their life, and you're going to change their life.
Yeah, well
So
said, man.
just
Well
yeah,
said.
just see what it is. Like we're playing a huge role if we play our cards right. We have to be humble and contrite, lead with truth, give them wisdom. And man, it's their lives and our lives too will change.
And when your pure intention is, you love mankind, they're one of God's children,
Yeah,
and your ultimate outcome is you just want to help make their life better, people are going to come and be attracted to you because they're going to feel your heart. They're going to feel you. They're going to
yeah,
feel you. They're not going to feel like you're a salesman just using them, selling them on a bunch of services, and then it's living a lie. They're going to feel your heart. And guess what? They're not going to leave your office and they're going to tell everybody they know about you.
yep, yep. And we don't sell anything in the office except for the patient on themselves and their ability to heal.
Amen to that. What was that
That's
quote
it.
BJ Palmer is infamously, let alone famously known for? You never know how far reaching something you think, say, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow.
Yep,
So we got to step up, speak the truth, and educate one patient at a time. And better yet, start those orientations tens at a time. If not, hand them my book, share this
hmm,
podcast, and let's get the millions converted to regular, unadulterated chiropractic care.
amen.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
Yep,
And
love you, bud.
we're getting together tomorrow for a big one. We got a special guest that we won't tell you who it is, but that'll probably be launched in about a week or two. And woo, baby, that's gonna be a big one.
Dude, I'm getting chills. Look at that. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah, what's funny is Michelle, that handles all this, puts this together for us, said, you got to have, she goes, why don't you have this person on? And I was like, I've been thinking about that. He's just really busy. So it might be tough scheduling a time. So I put out a text and within minutes, he was like, yes.
Yep,
So I'm
yep,
looking forward to that, my man. So I will see
yep.
you again tomorrow, bro.
Me too. And I don't know where that's going to lead, but 3 words that I know is going to come up. So everybody needs to tune in. Success leaves clues.
Amen, my man. God bless you.
That's
Love
it.
you.
Yep.
Appreciate
Love
everyone
y'all.
listening. And we thank you for sharing this and telling everybody about it. Be blessed.